Yo, what's going on, man? Mouse Fortress here, and this is a very short announcement, okay? Please join my Discord, okay? It's called Mouse Fortress 2. It's a pun on Vader's Fortress in Star Wars, you know, his castle on Mustafar. Very cool, right? Very cool. Join in though. There's plenty to talk about. Marvel, Star Wars, DC, anything, you know? So come on in, join, have some fun. We're a family, and yeah, let's chill. What's going on, man? It's your boy Darth Mal, aka Mouse Fortress in the building, and I am so happy because today we got a video from the GOAT himself, the Critical Drinker. Okay, now it's been a while. I haven't seen many of his recent videos. I've been offline, as you've known. I've been gone for about a month or so, but I'm back now. I'm here making vids again for you guys, and yeah, I missed this guy's videos. He's the GOAT, man. This dude just speaks nothing but facts. He always knows what to say, you know, and yeah, man, we're here. So this video is called Star Wars, Here We Go Again. So I'm pretty sure he's going to mention the whole stuff about Rey, the Rey movie, and the Rey director. So this is gonna be funny. Grab some popcorn, grab some soda. So let's hop in on this right now. Star Wars, Here We Go Again.
Another day, another controversy because a person said a thing and now half the internet is angry about it and the other half is angry at the people who got angry in the first place.
Boy, that escalated quickly.
Honestly, we're only a few days into 2024 and already we have our first big battle for the empire of dust that is current day Star Wars.
Yep.
And in this case, the source of the controversy was Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy, the director of the upcoming Star Wars movie focusing on Rey Palpatine.
Rey Skywalker.
Before you even finish, bro, I have a question, okay? Like, why does Hollywood obsess, well, especially nowadays, this is more of a common modern thing. Why does Hollywood obsess themselves with casting females to direct a female-led movie? Like, why does it matter if a male or a female directs a female-led movie or not? They seem to only cast female directors or hire female directors to direct these movies that's led by females. Like, what is I don't get that. Like, why? It's always like that now. It's always like that. I never got that. I don't get it.
Palpatine. I mean, Jesus, I've already said my piece on why turning stacks of dollar bills into crash barriers would be a more efficient way to spend $200 million or whatever embarrassingly huge amount of money they end up blowing on this turkey, so I won't repeat myself here. Instead, I'll just get right to the heart of the matter. As you probably noticed from looking at her, Sharmeen is a person of the female persuasion, and apparently that's real important when it comes to directing Star Wars movies because
and we're in 2024 now, and I think it's about time that we had a woman come forward to shape the story in a galaxy far, far away.
Now, I made a video about this a few days ago. I posted it yesterday, and I'm gonna say the same thing I said in my video, okay? Same thing. Why does it matter? Why does it matter if a woman is in Star Wars? Like, she's making it seem so important that a woman has to be in Star Wars. Not to mention, there's been plenty of female Star Wars characters long before Rey. Long before Rey. So I don't understand why she's talking about, oh, it's about time we had a female woman in Star Wars. Like, what are you talking about? Leia Organa, Ahsoka Tano, Mara Jade, Asajj Ventress, okay? Like, Bo-Katan, like, I can go down the line. I don't understand this. They were around long before Rey, so I don't get it. I don't get it.
The old, it's time for demographic X to do arbitrary thing because current year arguments never gets old, does it? Now, when this clip started doing the rounds on the internet, the reaction from the Star Wars fan base was so thermonuclear that I think even Rachel Zegler breathed a sigh of relief. It's like a relay race, I guess. There's always going to be someone else waiting to say the next dumb thing and take the heat away from whoever's in the firing line at the moment. Not only did Sharmeen's statement conveniently ignore the fact that women have been represented as the protagonists of 4 out of the past 5 Star Wars movies,
exactly.
The writers, producers, directors, and stars of multiple TV shows and video games, claims, virtually the entire Lucasfilm story group and the president of the entire studio, but it also played into all the tediously predictable tropes that have come to define the culture of modern Star Wars. The obsession with identity over personality, the narcissistic sense of entitlement, the trampling of the legacy of previous generations, the idea that you're owed something purely because of your gender, the realization that no matter how much ground is given and how many concessions are made, the demand will always be the same. More. And I think after enduring almost 10 years of smug, overpowered girl bosses who can magically do everything better than the men.
You know, makes characters like Sarah Connor, Ahsoka Tano, even Ahsoka Tano, you know, like characters like that. It's like they're such great written people because or girls. They're such great written girls because it's like they don't use their gender as a character trait. Like they don't use their gender as a character trait. You know, you don't see Leia or Organa running around like, oh, I'm a girl, I can do this and that because I'm a girl, and I'm better than you, and I'm a girl. Like, she doesn't do that. Sarah Connor didn't do that. Sotano didn't do that. It's like, you know, it's like I don't understand why these modern female characters do this. I don't understand.
Men around them, the Star Wars fanbase are kind of over the whole female empowerment thing now. It's not new, groundbreaking, inventive, or admirable anymore. It's become the norm, as tediously predictable and stale as the damsel in distress trope from decades earlier. The reality is that the stage had already been set for something like this when Obaid Chinoy was first announced as director and people began to learn more about her background and career. A Pakistani journalist, documentary filmmaker, and feminist activist whose main focus was on highlighting the plight of women in Pakistani culture.
Sounds like no one. Sounds like someone that should not be directing a Star Wars movie. That's what that sounds like. Like, what? Are you serious right now?
I mean, that's admirable work indeed, but the question on most people's minds was, what the fuck has that got to do with Star Wars?
Exactly.
The answer seemed to come in the form of previous interviews that magically resurfaced around the same time that seemed to offer some insight into her mindset as a director.
I like to make men uncomfortable. I enjoy making men uncomfortable.
Huh? What? Wow.
If I need to stand up and face a man and look at him in the eyes and scare him off a little bit, I do scare Pakistani men off a little bit. That I do, and I enjoy that power.
I am working to bring something that makes you uncomfortable, and it should make you uncomfortable.
Now, I'll be the first to admit that this doesn't sound particularly good when taken at face value,
Oh,
and it
boy.
goes without saying that if a male director was to sit there and proudly declare how much he enjoys making women
He'd be
uncomfortable,
outta
you
there.
can bet your soy milk latte that his career would be over quicker than you can say, me also. But in this case, I'm about to do something that may just surprise you. I'm going to defend her on this one.
Are you serious?
See, the fact is, these interviews were made years earlier and they have absolutely nothing to do with Star Wars or even the entire Western Hemisphere for that matter. She was talking about her documentary work to expose the practice of honor killings in Pakistan and the men who somehow think it's okay to literally murder women for the crime of being assaulted by other men. I mean, if you think you're having a bad day, I suggest you look it up sometime. It'll put your life into perspective pretty quick. Anyway, my point is that those are the men she was talking about wanting to feel uncomfortable in the hopes that her work might cause them to reflect on their actions and rethink their worldview. Not an unreasonable position, but the problem is that when a clip like that surfaces at the same time as her interview about Star Wars, the human mind naturally forms a link between two completely unrelated things and assumes the worst. Shit man, we even covered it on Open Bar the other night, which
Nice.
is partly why I wanted to clarify it here. Now, none of this is to say that I think she's going to produce an amazing Star Wars movie, or that she's particularly qualified to take on a massive project like this in the first place, or that I agree with her reason for why she should be doing it, but I do think it's important to be fair in our criticism and not misrepresent people's opinions just to farm some quick outrage. Anyway, I digress. Back to the point at hand. You know, every time someone makes a statement like that, my question is always the same. Why? Why exactly is it time for a woman to direct a Star Wars movie? It's got to be more than just,
Good question.
it's 2024 now. And that's not to say that I'm against the basic premise, but what I'm questioning here is the logic of the argument. Because normally when you make a bold declaration that a thing needs to happen, it should be followed up by some kind of understandable rationale to justify it. Otherwise it would be like striding up to your boss and demanding a raise with no evidence of why you deserve one.
Yeah.
Just as a quick example off the top of my head, I think it's about time I disposed of the corpse of that double glazing salesman who just wouldn't take no for an answer because it's starting to stink up my living room and it's only a matter of time before the neighbours start asking questions. In this case, I've established a clear problem that needs to be addressed, and while other people might propose different solutions, nobody can argue that a solution of some kind is indeed required. So what exactly is the problem that needs to be solved in this case? Well, according to Charmine, it's that no woman has ever directed a Star Wars movie. And this, of course, is factually true. Out of the 11 Star Wars movies that have been released so far, all of them were directed by men. But why is this a problem? Are men inherently bad at directing Star Wars movies? Would women be better at it? Well, men have certainly directed some bad Star Wars films, that's for sure. I don't think many people would argue that Rise of Skywalker was a good movie.
And that's why I say it doesn't matter, okay? Honestly, it don't even matter if a girl is directing a Star Wars movie. What matters is if that director knows what she's doing, what he or she is doing. Like, I'm totally down with a female making a Star Wars film if she knows what she's talking about. If she's the biggest Star Wars nerd, knows everything, and isn't into the agenda, isn't into the woke stuff, you know. Those are my four freaking my 4 criteria points for a female Star Wars director. She has to fill out all those criteria. It's like, if not, then I don't want her. I definitely don't want you if you're going to be like a wokey, okay? Because this woman here seems like a wokey. I don't want any wokies coming to Star Wars, okay? I want pure just Star Wars nerds, bro. Pure Star Wars nerds who only care about telling a good Star Wars story. No freaking just political stuff put into it, you know, no identity politics, none of that, okay? That's all I want, a non-free political Star Wars movie, you know? And it doesn't matter if it's made by a girl or a boy, you know?
Movie, or Solo, or The Phantom Menace. But then again, A New Hope, The Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, and even Rogue One were all pretty good films, all of which were directed by men. But what about women? Are they different somehow? Well, in the world of Star Wars, we've had Bryce Dallas Howard direct multiple episodes.
Oh, Bryce Dallas Howard, that woman. Dang, I just want to. Let me stop.
Of The Mandalorian, most of which turned out to be pretty good from a directing perspective. Not so much the writing, but that's not exactly her responsibility. So, nice work, Bryce. Then again, Deborah Chow directed every episode of Obi-Wan Kenobi.
That woman sucks, okay? Deborah Chow, she sucks. She sucks, okay? That's all I'm gonna say, she sucks.
Which was almost universally terrible, with some of the worst staging and cinematography that I've ever seen in a Star Wars production. Not so good, Debs. So what can we take from this? Well, it's almost like male and female directors are both capable of producing good and bad Star Wars projects, none of which has anything whatsoever to do with their gender, and everything to do with their individual talents, skills, and abilities as artists. So why do we have to demean them as individuals by reducing them down to a monolithic collective based on an irrelevant aspect of their identity? Why is it time for a woman to direct a Star Wars movie? More importantly, why is it time for this particular woman to direct a Star Wars movie?
Right.
Well, I suspect you know the answer already. It's the same reason Kevin Feige proudly declared that we needed more female superheroes in the MCU, the same reason he hired inexperienced directors like Chloe Zhao, Kate Shortland, and Nia DaCosta to take on massive projects that they were totally unprepared for. The same reason Lucasfilm were forging ahead with yet another movie about a character nobody cares about. It looks good. More importantly, it makes them look good. It allows them to pat themselves on the back and say they're doing their bit for the greater good by fast-tracking people into roles they're totally not ready for on the basis of their innate characteristics, and then conveniently forgetting about them when their projects inevitably fail, rather than taking on the longer and more difficult task of nurturing real talent and allowing people to gradually work their way up to top-level projects once they're ready. And if anything, I think this approach does a real disservice to the many talented and capable female female directors already out there by reducing them to the status of token diversity hires chosen because of how they were born rather than their capability as artists, and provoking audiences into blaming them for failed movies that were never going to succeed anyway.
Right.
Like, for example, another movie about the adventures of Rey Palpatine.
Rey Skywalker.
You and me are going to have a long talk when this is over.
Dude, I'll say one thing about this movie, man. When her film comes out, it's going to be so, like, it's going to be crazy. It's going to be a crazy day on the planet because it's like so many people are divided with her character. Most fans don't like her, but she has a strong fan base. And it's like, it's going to be Last Jedi all over again when that film comes out. It's going to be Last Jedi all over again. And honestly, part of me is looking forward to it because the fandom hasn't been this hype in a long time. It hasn't been this hype since the movies, I guess. So when that comes out, that's going to be crazy. That's going to be a crazy day to be a Star Wars fan.
Anyway, that's all I've got for today. Go away now.
Shout out Drinker, another amazing video, man. My thoughts on this movie, honestly, it's like, will it be good? I don't know. The movie could be a success. It could be a 10 out of 10 movie. But the thing is, though, if this woman really is who she says she is, talking about like, oh, women and, you know, I like making men feel uncomfortable, then I'm scared. I'm rightfully scared for this movie. And I don't want to feel that way, and I shouldn't feel that way. But it's like, you can't get mad at me for feeling some kind of discomfort or not being faithful in this movie. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just, I can't help it. And you can't get mad at me for that. All you freaking Disney shills, Star Wars shills who get mad at people like Drinker and me covering this stuff, you can't get mad at us for that because we have every right. All we want is a legit good Star Wars movie. That's all we want, okay? Honestly, if it was up to me, I'd have one person do everything like George Lucas did. He did everything, man. Why do we constantly need different directors for everything? Just have the same person do everything. That would solve so many issues with like consistency and like you know, like shooting, how the scenes look. Like if someone like Dave Filoni just did everything, it would be amazing. Okay, and that's me being biased because I love Dave Filoni, but I feel like if he took over and just did everything, you know, for Star Wars again, he'd be the new George Lucas. You know, he would be the new top dog. That's what I want. My dream is to have him do everything. Disney's weird though. They always want different directors. I don't know why, but they're so weird. They always want different directors. I don't get it. But we'll see one day. Who knows? But as far as this goes, yeah, I have no faith in it. I gotta see a trailer first and some leaks, and then I'll come back on this. But that's it for me. Okay, so like, subscribe, comment down below your thoughts on this video, on this subject. Is Drinker spitting facts? Is he wrong? Is he right? Let me know down below. And yeah, that's it for me. I'm out. Peace. Oh yeah, one thing. Shout out to my boy Paul, aka Nerd Culture Toxic. My boy got his channel deleted. He had 1.4K or something like that. He had 1K over 1K, and YouTube pulled the plug on him. So I'm gonna leave a link to his new channel down below. He has a new channel. I'll put it down below in the description. Follow him, subscribe to him, because I know some of y'all who watch me watch him. So yeah, go ahead, show my boy some love. Get him back to 1K, and yeah. So now with that being said, that's it for me. Okay, I am out. Peace.